Do you want a buttery glove? I'll show you how to get one. Come on. I know the exact feeling. I know it oh too well. It feels like either you get a nice wide open glove, but then getting it to seal right down, it's a little stiff, or it closes up nicely, but then, you know, it's a little extra work to get it really open wide. I have been known to do the mash on my pants repeatedly. This is Maria from GoalieTrainingPro.com. I'm an exercise physiologist who helps you win more games with fewer injuries, but I'm also a recreational goalie. And today I'm going to show you how I beat my RG4 glove into submission. I've had it for about a year now. It's a beauty, but let's go through the steps. Hey, stick around to the end too. I'm going to give you one secret in how to break in your blocker as well. So here's how I broke in my glove. There's also a really great video on YouTube that I went and checked out when I was trying to figure out how to, actually this is probably my third glove. I'll tell you about the other ones I've had in a second, but a good go-to video is called How to Break in Your Goalie Glove -Keeps 33 Method. So KEEPS 33 method. I use some of his tricks in this. So I think the number one trick to breaking in your glove quickly is getting one that feels pretty good off the wall. So I am that goalie that goes into the goalie shop and tries on every single glove on the wall, gives it a squeeze, nope. Gives it a squeeze, nope. Ooh, not bad. So what I found when I did that is that to me, the Warrior gloves and the Brian's gloves felt the best off the wall. So this glove actually felt pretty good right out of the box. The gloves I've had before, my first glove was a Reebok that was really nicely broken in because all my first equipment was used equipment, and some stinky teenage boy had done a great job of breaking in my glove, but man, did that glove stink. So after any time I played, it was like, oh, bad, clap bomb city. But it was good. Then I got a Vaughn glove, and it was used as well, but it wasn't broken in as well, and I just could never get it feeling right. Then I bought a brand new CCM glove, not top of the line, but it was pretty good, but again, it never got feeling right. Actually, too, even the Vaughn glove, I dropped it off at the local hockey shop, and one of the guys that worked in there, I was like, hey, I'll give you $50 if you just mash the daylights out of my glove. And he even tried all of his tricks. He breaks in gloves for guys in the OHL and stuff. He tried all his tricks, and he's like, wow, that glove. Like, and not to say anything bad about Vaughn gloves, but just that glove in particular was like, whoa, it had some issues. So let's go through step by step how I got this one working really nicely. So the number one thing is have it with you at all times. So if you are watching television, you have your glove, you're working your glove. That's the number one thing that's going to get it feeling better, and work it in all directions. So you know, I'll have my hand in there, but I'll use my other hand to sort of help close it, because if I'm just squeezing with my hand, my forearms are going to get exhausted in about 30 seconds. So, and I'll just use both hands and, you know, work on opening, closing, getting it feeling nice and loose like that. I also will kind of mash it like this, like I'll saw it back and forth like that to get this part moving, because I think that this is usually sort of the limiting factor, getting this loosened up. And I'll look at it, so I'll you know, slowly close it and look at it and see, hey, what comes into contact first? Where am I getting kind of bound up on this thing? And in this glove, I could see that there was a little bit of binding up there. Let me try and show you in this angle. So just sort of in the heel, these surfaces would come, and I would start to feel some resistance there. So then I would work too on, you know, trying to press that down, trying to work just specifically on that area and get it loosened up. So rule number 1, have it with you all the time. Mash it in all directions. I don't think you need to run it over in the car or anything, but just mash it in all directions. Step number 2, heat it up a little bit. So even at Vaughn, when they're doing the new like pro gloves, they'll bake them in an oven, and I can't remember the temperature, so don't set your oven at like 450 and throw it in for 35 minutes like you would a tray of muffins or something. But heat it up a little bit. So I first started using what the Keeps method shows, which was hot water, and I would just kind of pour, like, not boiling hot water, hot tap water down this seam just to kind of loosen that up. Gloves are not leather. I don't think any glove is leather anymore, so you don't have to worry that you're going to ruin the leather by getting it wet. And it's going to get wet to some extent anyway with, you know, sweat from your hand and things like that when you're playing. So I found that worked pretty well. One caution that I got, it might have been Whack from Pure Goalie who told me this, I can't remember, but getting it too wet, if it makes some of the foam in there expand, that could actually make it stiffer. So that was a little bit of an aha moment, because I'm suspicious. I wonder if that's what happened with my CCM glove a little bit. So then what I did is I asked Paul if he would pretty please go to the shed and get the heat gun. So this is where it gets a little dangerous. And your glove might be different material, so you need to be really careful when you're taking heat to your glove that you don't ruin it. So what I did is I got the heat gun, I held it pretty far away, so, you know, about this far away on the lowest setting, and just a little bit. I think even a hair dryer would do the trick. Like, I probably would heat it for like maybe 10 seconds just to get it warm, and then I would work it. And I could feel like, oh yeah, there's less resistance there. Okay, and I could really mash it when it was a little bit warm, and then when it cooled off, gently heat it again. Not so it was hot to the touch in any way, not so even my hand inside felt any heat, and then keep mashing it that way. So I feel like that did help sort of soften up the material a bit and let me work it more a little bit easier. Rule number 3, never leave your glove unless it's sealed closed or sealed open. Let me show you how I did both of those, so that we want to get that extreme close and that extreme open, so that it just needs to, it's like training a puppy. It needs to know where this is open, this is closed. Let me show you how I do that. So we are moving and half my crap is packed and I can't find what I'm looking for, but this will work. So when I seal the glove closed, the first thing I do is, and I usually use a hockey, so when I cut down on my goalie sticks, so I keep that little end, or I keep one of them, and I'll put that little end, so this is a full dowel broomstick. You could use a piece of dowel too, but it doesn't need to be like, we're improvising. So I put it right in that crease there, so that it creates a little gap, and kind of addresses that issue that I was talking about, where this comes into contact first. So I put that hockey stick or a dowel in there to create a little gap there that helps get a good close. Then I get a softball. Some people use pucks. Pucks work fine. Softball is fine as well. It's not, your glove isn't going to get confused and think it's a softball glove and not know how to catch pucks. Or will it? Might be worth testing. Then you get your handy dandy skate lace and you just tie a little knot. This is going to be a bowline. My dad taught me how to tie a bowline with one hand when I was probably 8 years old, explaining that if I ever fell off a cliff and had to tie a rope around myself with just one hand, the one-handed bowline. You're welcome. And then I just put that around. This is a super long lace. I don't usually use as long a lace, but my regulation glove tying up lace is packed in a box somewhere. And then I just mash it around, make sure it's sealed nice and tight, and then tie it off, come saw. And I leave it until the next day when I'm just farting around or watching TV, watching hockey, and then I get working it again. So what you'll find when you undo it is that, oh, it closes like butter. It feels a little stiff to open now. Feels a little stiff to open. That's okay. We're going to work the extremes, you know, one at a time. So then, and really whatever it needs the most. To me, I think this glove needs the most opening. So anytime I leave it, I'll mostly leave it open, and this is exactly how I do that. So I will place said glove on the floor and open it up nice and wide. And then this is a 25-pound plate, and I'll just put it on there and leave it until the next time I come to get it. You don't have to use a 25-pound plate exactly. It just needs to be something. It could be a bag of flour, like a 10-pound bag of flour. But the key is you just need to open it up and have something that's just going to hold it like that. And then you'll find that really, it just feels great when you come back to it. You know, it'll just pop right back to a nice wide open position. I actually forgot to mention too, that tip about putting hockey stick or a dowel in here to keep this little gap, that I definitely got from Peter Martin at Pro Skate Goal in Calgary. So thanks, Peter. It worked like a charm. Are you ready for your bonus tip? Do you want to see how I broke in my blocker? So what I did was I put my hand in the blocker. So just like that. And then I played. And it worked like a charm. It felt great. So that's how you break in your blocker. Even just for that bonus tip alone, it's worth a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time to do that. If you have subscribed, now is the time to hit the bell. If you want to see the rest of my gear, what's in my bag 2020 edition, I'll put a link in the description for sure. You can see how I set up my gear, what modifications that I've made, what I like, what I've changed. And now it's your turn. So why don't you tell me your favorite method for breaking in a glove? What's worked best for you? Because I'm always looking for new ideas, and I know other goalies are too. So I super appreciate that. Drop it in the comments below. Otherwise, that's it. I will catch you next time.